Hi there. So this is a fun little brief mini session on preparation for ayahuasca, the dieta. And what's really cool about this, and the reason I thought it was especially good to share with you, and this time of year seems really good for doing any kind of detox work, I think, because we know we're getting ready to go into the winter season, and it's a lot easier to rest and reflect and enjoy the holidays when you are kind of cleansed inside, is that you can do this as a detox anytime. And you know, with ayahuasca, it's all or nothing, because some of the things I'm talking about today are actually dangerous in the way that they interact with the medicine, which is why a lot of people can't take ayahuasca, because you can't be on prescription medication really, and you can't be on competing agents. And so it's really hard for people to detox, not only from all of the foods that they love and that they're used to enjoying and eating, and all of, for me, even healthy things like fermented foods are forbidden. There's a reason for that, and I'll explain that in a minute. But so you probably can't go whole hog. Very few people can. And in fact, it's the main inhibitor to ayahuasca practice, is the commitment it takes to detoxing both from food, from alcohol, and also from medication. For me, that's part of the magic. I think clearer and better. It's kind of a gluten-free diet as well, and gluten really isn't good for anybody, right? I mean, our breads have so much gluten in them now. Our breads are not the same breads that our grandmothers made and ate, and so we are over-glutenized, and so detoxing from gluten, not a bad thing. Detoxing from alcohol, a very good thing for your liver, right? And so anyway, I'll walk you through kind of the do's and don'ts. This is my own personal take, by the way, including the recipe that I make for the soup I'm going to talk about. Because for me, the only way to get through a detox is with smoothies all the time and soup. Because those are things, I'm Greek, I like to eat, I look forward to eating, and I love flavor. And so for me, it's about making these simple things that make the whole process more enjoyable. Okay, so you want to start to think about, ahead of the diet, what your favorite fruits are, knowing that some of them you can't have. So it's advised that you don't have pineapple and that you don't have mango, are the two basic main ones that you're supposed to avoid that are hard for me to give up. And that's because mango is very hard on your body to digest. And your goal is to pretty much have your system clear of residue in the intestine by the time you go into the ayahuasca experience. That way, if you're purging, it's less likely to be extreme. So if you eat a mango 2 days before, that's going to take your body 3 days to digest, that's the first thing that your body's going to be trying to push out of your system. You don't want to eat things that are very acidic. The ayahuasca dieta is highly alkaline, which is your body's preferred state anyway. The ayahuasca diet, you should know, is also called the anti-cancer diet, because acidity in the body, which comes as a result of the hard cheeses, the soy, the alcohol, the dried fruit, and all of that, that also sets your body up for acidosis. And acidosis leads to inflammation, inflammation leads to disease, and so on we go with a cycle of the things that we eat actually making us sick. So no one will tell you that the ayahuasca dieta is bad. They will tell you it's hard as shit to follow, if they're being honest with you. So what I like to do is stock up on all the fruits that I can have. You can have bananas that can't be overripe, or they develop tyramine, which is an amino acid that leads to high blood pressure, because the ayahuasca tea has tyramine in it and tends to raise blood pressure. That's why people with high blood pressure really can't do ayahuasca. It's not a good thing if you already have high levels of tyramine in your system anyway, because that can lead to severe things in severe cases. And so your goal is to try and reduce the amount of tyramine in your system, and that's why can't have things with tyramine, which includes soy products, miso, for example, no fermented foods, no alcohol, no hard cheese, no dried fruit, no beans, no peanuts, no chocolate, no dairy. And it's kind of good if you can avoid grains too. But I always have a piece of like whole wheat bread or a couple whole wheat crackers. It doesn't throw me off. And so what I do is I go to all the other fruits I can have. Tons of berries. I eat berries, so many berries. Watermelon. But I try to think about the things that I can put into a smoothie. And so you can have all of your greens. You can have apples. You can have carrots. You can have all of your berries, which I love, right, and love putting those into smoothies for sure. You can have underripe bananas, which still give great texture and great flavor, especially if you don't like a super sweet smoothie, which I don't. You can have peaches and apricots. I don't do as much citrus during the dieta because, again, you're trying to move into more of an alkaline state, and your citrus fruits are acidic, and so you want to try and move away from those. And like I said, if you can, try to avoid your pineapple and your mango as well. So there's lots of green smoothies that you can do, and lots of basic fruit smoothies that you can do as well, that are easy for your body to tolerate and that you will enjoy. You can do vegan protein powders are okay, you know, and you can do lots of ice with an underripe banana, bunch of berries, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, and then throw in, I threw in a peach into mine every day this last time because they're super ripe and in season. So you got to make the best of it, and it ends up being very delicious. Okay. Also on the list of not to have are caffeine and stimulants, and also recreational drugs of any kind, including plants like cannabis. It's best not to use cannabis leading up to your experience with ayahuasca. They're not synchronous plants. They're very different plant teachers. They don't tend to work well together. And so it's thought that it's best not to use cannabis for at least a week leading up to your ayahuasca journey. Same with alcohol, same with caffeine, and same with spices. You can have a moderate amount of turmeric, ginger, garlic, onion. It's best if it's cooked because it's not as potent, because again, your system is likely to be more irritated by having the spicier spices. And then the other thing is you have to remove distractions. It's a dieta from distractions. You don't want to activate Kundalini energy because it can actually throw your journey off. It can lead you. You want to close all your energetic portals as you're preparing for ayahuasca. You want to have the purest, cleanest channel you can. And Kundalini energy can sometimes be a portal for high ego function to enter into the equation. And so it's thought no kissing, no masturbation, no orgasm, no sex, which prevents you from activating the Kundalini, keeps a pure energy flow in your system. So I think that's interesting for you to consider as well. And so what I did in the morning was a fruit smoothie every morning. I allowed myself to have eggs as well, one a day. So I would do hard-boiled eggs, or, you know, in the morning, kind of an egg over easy on a piece of whole wheat toast is a good breakfast too. You don't want to do pancakes. You don't want to do muffins. No sugar. Okay, so you want to try and get sugar out of your system. I promise you, when you're done with the detox or the dieta, more so if you do the dieta, because ayahuasca removes your cravings for things. So even if you're like, I can't go a week without soda, you won't even want it when you're done. I'm a week out from my journey now, and I still haven't had alcohol or soda or caffeine. Haven't had much in the way of animal products, a little bit of chicken or meat at lunch, but nothing in the evening, and mostly fruits and vegetables and rice even now. So, and I don't have any cravings, so I'm trying to see how long this lack of craving lasts. It happens to me every time. And then what's nice is when you reintegrate it back into your diet, you're doing it from a place of balance. You know, it's not like you're gotta have it, have to have it, right? It's more like, I would like to have it, but I don't have to have it right now. And that's how ayahuasca cures alcoholism and drug dependency, because it's like, I really do like wine. I enjoy it. Right now, the idea of drinking it is disgusting to me because alcohol tastes like battery acid after you are off ayahuasca. So it's like, for me, it's always this like, I gotta really push myself past it if I want to start to integrate it back into my diet. It is a choice whether I would do that or not. And that's not just me. I mean, I'm not addicted to it, but even people who have an addiction, who are like, I can't wait till this is over so I can go back, are kind of like, it becomes a choice, which is a really powerful thing to say about something that one has an addiction with, right? So sometimes it's nice to detox, especially with the plant medicines, and set as your intention the ability to release your desire to eat toxic foods and drink toxic beverages. And so that's what I do for in the morning for breakfast. I like to have pistachios. I like the texture and opening the shells and everything, so I would have pistachios sometimes for a snack. And then I would have my soup for lunch and my soup for dinner. And so my soup is as follows. When I'm on dieta, what I do is I take a big stock pot, a big Dutch oven. I fill it with half low sodium chicken broth and half water. And then I add a whole head of broccoli, a whole head of cauliflower, chop, chop, chop. No onion or garlic because it's preferred not to have them on the dieta. You're going to get some flavor from your chicken broth, so it's not going to be completely flavorless. On the dieta, if you want to add a little bit of chicken, it's okay. You don't want to have too much meat every day, but I need a little bit of protein, so I will often take a rotisserie chicken from the store that's already cooked and just shred the breast and put it in. It's not going to disrupt your process, and it's not hard on your body to digest. I add about 5 stalks of celery chopped, about half a dozen big carrots chopped and sliced. What else went in this time? A can of sweet corn, a can of kidney beans I put in. Doesn't seem to cause a problem for me. And see, broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, celery, a little bit of chicken. Did I miss anything else? I don't think so. And then the corn and the kidney beans. That makes a really thick soup. Oh, and potato. I chopped up some potatoes and just, rough chop. I do not take a long time making this. You don't need to. It's chop, chop, chop in, chop, chop, chop in. You just want to have biteable chunks, so it's easy to serve, easy to heat up, easy to make, easy to store. And then I would have a bowl of that in the afternoon, and then a bowl of that in the evening, and that would tie me over. And again, for snacks, you can have some whole wheat pita chips and hummus. I haven't had any problem digesting garbanzo beans, and olive oil is totally fine for you. So I would make a little hummus, drizzle some olive oil over the top, eat with some whole wheat garlic pita chips, not seasoned, just plain, but it's all really yummy. That'll get you through. Popsicles. My secret to getting through this and surviving is at night I would allow myself a popsicle. And there are a couple brands that are mostly just fruit juice. You want to find something really organic and pure. If it has a little bit of cane sugar in it, it's okay as long as that's your only cheat during the day. You can't have a bunch of sugar. But if you're the kind of person who needs something sweet at night to look forward to, like I am, you can choose that. The artificial sweetener popsicles, in some cases are better because they don't have sugar, but they do have artificial sweetener, and the whole point is to really detox away from artificial things. So I'd rather see you have a little tiny bit of cane sugar than a little bit of artificial sweetener, if that makes sense. And that's how I got through. Usually for me, if I do that for 7 days, smoothie in the morning, mid-afternoon, mid-morning snack, nuts or crackers or something, soup for lunch, another little nut cracker snack, soup for dinner, and then a popsicle. If I do that for 7 days with just water and herbal tea, all chamomile all the time, because it's a nerve agent, right? It calms your nerves. Because there's a lot of anxiety that comes up when you're going into ayahuasca journey. What am I going to see? Am I ready to see it? How will I integrate it? You're detoxing from things that you eat all the time, and so it's an adjustment for your body. She's starting to talk to you because as soon as you say yes to a journey, the journey begins. And so chamomile tea is really helpful. Cold brewing herbal tea is what got me through. So you take mason jars. You probably know this, but I'm just saying it just in case you don't. I put 2 tea bags in the bottom of a mason jar, fill it full of cold water, and put it in the fridge overnight. In the morning, you'll have cold brewed herbal tea. You can do it with any tea, any bag, loose tea. You just have to strain it out. But cold brewed tea saves my life because I don't really like water, but you need to drink a lot of water leading up. And then the day before the ayahuasca journey, you start to dial back fluids, or at least I do, because again, you want to give your body as little to purge as possible. Some people are heavy purgers, I'm not, but it just depends on what your predisposition is. But if you're a heavy purger, you especially don't want to have too many fluids in your system to be able to purge. Night of, nothing to drink. Morning of, if you're doing the journey during the day, night before, morning of, nothing to drink. If you're doing the journey at night, morning of, you can have something to drink, but starting at around noon, you're going to wean yourself and you're not going to have anything to drink until that night. And it's recommended that you stay on the dieta as long as you can for the integrity of the process, really. So, like I said, for me, I'm a week out now. Still really have been doing it for the most part, partly for the clarity it's been bringing, but also just to honor the process. And then I'll start it again a week before my next journey. So I hope that's helpful. Your soup, if you're dieting for a week, you might have to make 2 batches of soup. If you're, I do my dieta for about 4 to 5 days ahead of the journey in a really serious way. I start to wean off of alcohol and other things earlier than that, but the full dieta is a 4 or 5 day period before. One big batch of soup, if you're not having to share it with everybody, will last you. My family likes it when I make it, so I usually make 2. And then if you want to make that soup, but you're not on dieta and you want to have it taste really, really good, add onion and garlic. When you're starting to cook, before you add your broth and everything, put some butter in there, a little olive oil, onion, garlic, get that cooking, and then cook your corn separately in butter. saute it in butter, and then add it into the soup. That little extra bit of fat and seasoning, if you want, takes what is a beautiful soup but very simple and makes it into more of a gourmet meal, if you will. Really enhances the flavor of everything I told you that I add. So I hope this has been helpful, both for detoxing on any level and preparing for ayahuasca. I look forward to seeing you soon for more. Have a great rest of your day.